Those who did necropsy.
Cecum.
Oh, yes, cecum. Woke me up. Cecum. So this is your avian cecal nematode. Avian cecal worm. You will find them typically when we do necropsies on chickens. They are there. Yes, these are the same birds we eat. It's not a big deal. You know, I'm sure all of us, one of us has a worm somewhere in here. It is what it is.
Are these endemic, like you'll see them all the time?
Yeah,
Okay.
you just get infected from the soil, and it's even in poultry that are raised on, you know, processing plant, not processing, but farms. They can still have Heterachus gallinaria.
So I probably should put that in my necropsy report.
Yes, if you saw it, did you see it?
I didn't see it.
Okay, well that's
Probably there.
But yeah, so they transmit this disease. So other names, blackhead, infectious enterohepatitis, can be all seen as well. And you can get it in a variety of species. Typically we see them in turkeys and chickens. So the lesions are in two areas, the liver and the cecum. So we have hepatic necrosis, multifocal, and then we have caseous necrosis within the cecum, so those cecal cores. So other bacteria such as E. coli and Clostridium, they feel like they are part of the condition and they sort of play a role in the development of this disease. But that varies from one species to the next. Some birds don't even have any other diseases, but it can occur. And we are not going through this very long, complicated life cycle. Picture here. Important things to know. Classic pictures, you may have sulfur yellow droppings, so yellow diarrhea, decreased feed consumption. They may be drowsy, droop wings, they may have cyanosis of the head and wattles. That's why it's called blackleg. And these birds often just, as they get older, they become chronic wasting. Bless you. The liver lesions are target in appearance, so they're multifocal areas of necrosis and they have these raised ring appearance. So this is what I mean by a target lesion. As you can see, it's round and circular, and then you have sort of a depressed area in the center, and they're multifocally located throughout the liver. So that's the liver in this bird. And this is another bird with this same disease, these rounded circular regions throughout. Very classic picture. This is definitely one that will be on your exam, with at least the liver lesions. And I don't know why this is so blurry. Let's not worry about that. Take that out. Also in the cecum, they have cecal cores, as we said. They're yellow caseous necrotic material that's sloughed into the lumen. And they look exactly like what you see with coccidiosis. Okay? So I love this picture because you get a twofer. So you have lesions in the liver. So this is the liver. And then you have the, the paired ceca here. You have two very extreme cases. So the liver has these round, raised nodules, target lesions. That's one liver, and that's another liver, and this kind of baby liver over here. And then the ceca, as you can see here, filled with necrotic cellular material. So both hepatic necrosis and caseous cecal cores. And I get very excited when it's a classic picture because it's just like, oh, easy to diagnose. Diagnostics, again, we can do gross lesions, histopathology, wet mounts. You can even do a scraping of the cecum, obviously after the bed, and look at it under the microscope. So another, as I said, the differentials for those necrotic cecal cores, primary would be Eimeria. Salmonella typhimurium can also give you similar lesions as it gets more aged or more chronic presentation. So there's a lot of controversy in terms of the treatment plan. So Heterogus gallonarium typically survives in the soil, so you might want to treat the soil. But as a worm on its own, it typically does not affect these species. So when it comes to that, we're not too concerned about the worm, but again, if you have secondary transmission of the protozoan, and then that's when you would become concerned. All right, so those two diseases, again, I like to teach things that are similar together so that you know the differences. So this is the attribute between avian leukosis and Merrick's. Again, so make sure you know between coccidiosis and blackhead disease. They have similar things, but definitely know what makes them stand apart. Another disease is Cryptosporidium bailey. And so Cryptosporidium in other species, how does it typically present? No, it does not cause cardiovascular, that's what you're thinking of. But it causes enteric disease, so the GI, the gut. In birds, it's completely different. It actually causes a respiratory infection. So instead of it causing diarrhea, we actually have more pneumonia and respiratory lesions. You typically see it in those birds that are immunosuppressed and young. And so it's not something we see on a common basis unless we know this bird is maybe have a viral etiology associated with it. In mammalians, it's a zoonotic disease, so we can get infected with Cryptosporidium, but the avian form is not zoonotic, so that's important to know as well. Okay. Again, life cycle more for your FYI. Clinical findings, again, respiratory in nature, we've done a nasal and ocular discharge, swollen sinuses, and sneezing and dyspnea. You may have edema and congestion of the lungs and a tracheitis. Again, it's not something that's going to stand out. So a lot of times when you diagnose this, it's going to be after you've done some diagnostics. You may do a nasal swab or something to help you identify the agent. So there is a long list of diagnostics. Fecal smears have been very good in terms of diagnosing Cryptosporidium. Fecal floats as well, and as it becomes more complex as we go further down, phase contrast and all these fluorescent staining, that's when you just have a really hard time identifying the organism. So cytology with a fecal smear, easy. Fecal float, you can easily do that as well. And this is showing you a tracheal, sort of a H&E section of the tracheal mucosa, and you've got tons of organisms on the mucosal surface. They are high population. And this is showing you a cytology. Those, I won't give you H&E sections. Only cytologies I would give on the exam are for the blood parasites that we'll be doing next class. So these are just for adding to the